And what about you? In the garage today we have a 2010 Honda Civic Type S, and she's an MoT failure. I'll get you on this here. So here in Northern Ireland we have a government agency that does the inspections. So it's an MoT, Ministry of Transport test. In the Republic of Ireland they have a similar system as done by government agencies. Now it is, you know, people have mixed sort of feelings about this. Sometimes they think it's not fair. Sometimes, you know, there is opinions come into it, you know, what is excessive and stuff like that. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion now, it's pretty thorough. It's all these guys do that do MOTs. You know, one guy could maybe do 20 cars, maybe more, in his shift. And, you know, there's 4, 6, half a dozen guys that do HGVs, private cars, buses, motorcycles, the heap. So they're very experienced at it. But anyway, what have we got here? We have the Civic S VTEC 2010 model year, 1400cc, headlamp, dip beam, defective, near side front, shock absorber leaking, offside front, and brake pads, near side rear, offside rear, so he needs a set of brake pads. So what's the crack with this? Headlight, beam defective. So they do an alignment test, an aim test they call it here. Near side not applicable. Offside pitch is correct. And his brake balances are pretty good. I had one in the other day. It was a wee Skoda, and the braking balance was 49%. He had a C's caliber. But yeah, headlamp, dip, beam defective. Beam defective. And he didn't get any aim on it at all. So maybe it just doesn't work. Yeah, so there we go. Headlight out. Simple as that. Hopefully it's just a bulb. Okay, we look at this. Let's see what the crack is. Get rid of that. Would have to be the one with the battery, isn't it? Oh. Look okay. And yeah, I'm just feeling around here. Yeah, just a bulb, I think. Yeah, just a standard 8.7 in these bios here. So, oh, it's packaging away. Get a wee look. There it goes. All right. So that bit goes to the top. We'll get her in, get her connected up, see what happens. So offside shock absorber leaking. Isn't that what it's saying? Yeah. Not wrong. Sacks. Well, before we'll get the car up in the air, change the shock absorber, we will driver. We'll get these wipers off and these plastics off while she's still on the deck, you know, before we take the wheels off. See if these are going to come for us. Let's see, we'll just give her a wiggle. Hard enough. See if this other side is going to be as nice. Sometimes these can be tricky. Wipers. And you need a wee tool, but a good lot of the times you just, oh, I fell off. So to get this wee bit here off, to get the top strut mounts, we need to take the whole cowling off now. You probably didn't have to take the passenger side wiper off, but it's off now, and we'll rip that off. So it's just a matter of taking a lot of these wee poppers out here and there, which sometimes on these Hondas can prove pretty tight. And these ones here we can't get below. Yeah, just broke. So let me get all this off. Yeah, sneaky one on here. Probably just handy just cutting it, you know. Alright, get in there. Oh, that came out alright. That one. Yeah, we'll pop a couple at the front. Here, that one, maybe this one as well. That should be enough to release this thing. Come out, Dad. Come out, Dad. Something else on this? Washer tube. Alright. There's a wee popper in the middle there, so I took that off. Pain on the cunning link. What's these Hondas? Oh. So you might think to yourself, what's so special about doing this strut? You know, it's just a changeover, gift, bog standard sort of routine, carry on, you know. Well, seeing these Hondas, there's a caveat with doing these struts, and it's to do with this drive shaft, you know. So what the crack is, if you loosen these two nuts and everything else attached to this strut, and let the hub here pull forward to you, with the drive shaft still attached, you know, in the middle, and it pulls out of the inner CV joint, you have some diffs getting that back in again, honestly. So that's the sort of point of this video, is these Hondas, you need to have something else in mind regarding this drive shaft. So last things first, we need to disconnect everything that's attached to this. Let's see if this comes. Oh, Jesus. Aha! I don't like just putting the impact on those wee boys in case you snap her, you know. So you like to feel what you're doing and what's going on. Right. Anti-roll bar chop link next. Just give it an anti-roller bar a wee push down. There we go. Well, nut won't get lost. Now, you don't actually accidentally put it on something else, but I think my wee brusher is consumable. Right. I just took the caliper off camera and she's hung up on the brake line. So let's see now. What is this? I think it's an 18. Kind of rusty. That should do it. Counter hold. Gift. So that's kind of loose there, so I don't want that falling out. Lovely. Get on. Counter hold. Let's straighten her up a wee bit. So our next trick, we're going to put a jack in below the wishbone. Now we're not going to jack it up. We're just going to put it there just to hold it. Just so it touches. Now I'm quite sure, knowing YouTube, that somebody's going to say, why don't you take the hub nut off and free the drive shaft from the hub? Well, you don't have to do that, and you sort of don't want to do that if you don't have to. So we want it so our bolts are still going to come out by hand, you know. So you can do it that way if you want, you know, release the drive shaft and then, you know, it'll not put out a CV. But all you have to do is make sure that this hub doesn't pull forward. That's it. So what I'm going to do before we continue is give this a wee bit of lubrication. And loosen these babies here at the top of the strut. So there's a bit of movement at the top of it. What's the crack with this one? Oh, dear. Yeah. So we'll get them up the thread, but not take them off, you know. Just a bit there. We'll pull this cap off over here. So we'll get a bit of tan wire in around somewhere. Don't want to tie it around the ABS wire. And take our bottom bolt out. Get this top bolt out, and whatever you do, don't let it go. So she's not going to go down because we've got the jack, and we don't want her to come out. So we don't want this drive shaft to pop from this inner joint. That's the whole reason why we're doing these wee extra maneuvers here, you know. So with our top strut bolts at the top, kind of loose, hopefully this will give us a wee bit more leeway, you know. So we don't want to pull this forward to us, hardly at all, just enough to clear the strut. We can push it out of the way like that. We can rotate it slightly, and we get our tan in round there, like so. And it's very neat, isn't it? And she'll just rock over. And there we go. So it won't go anywhere, and our jive shaft won't pop out. We can get the rest of these nuts at the top unscrewified. Jump down with 2 hands. And let's see if it's going to come out some way. And it's not. Might have to break a track rod end, you know, to get this out. Because of this ABS wire, we might get a wee bit more slack on her. Let's see. Back in a minute. Right. A bit more slack on that wire now. Just unclipped it. There we go. So we just clipped it out of there now. No bar. So here's our strut. Now it's worthwhile taking an orientation of this top mount. So we can see here, if you can see it in camera there, there's a wee sort of notch here, and it's lining up with that there bracket. So we'll just take a wee note of that. Wee mental note, didn't really need to mark it in this case because it's there for us, just to need to remember that. So here's our replacement, this NAPA brand. Now, this is not the brand I usually use. This, you know, it's like an American brand, but you know, it's remarkably cheap. I usually use KYB. That there is a rear shock for another car, different car than this, but this was a third of the price of the KYB equivalent. Now, I haven't used this brand before. It has been floating around the UK for maybe about a year now, and a lot of the factors are stocking them because they're dirt cheap. In fact, too cheap. It makes you sort of suspicious that it's completely and utterly garbage. But when you give the customer, you know, the option, what do you want? You know, you want this thing at a third of the price as a KYB, and you know, guess what they're going to do. And the owner of this vehicle is, well, he's as tight as a willock. So he says, just get it through MoT. And, oh, here, I'll probably be watching that. I'll have to edit that bit out. Yeah, the hell with him. And he knows it. That's what you're up against, you know, in this game. So, any of the other guys out there have used this NAPA brand in the UK now. Give us a shout in the doobly-doo there, and tell us what you think. Any returns? Any markings on that at all? It's a couple of. It's basically unbranded, like, you know. Seems alright. I'll get this hook on it. So what we'll do with these shock absorbers, any of these shock absorbers, is you need to, you know, we'll get this extended here, and we'll need to press it a couple of times to get the oil flowing around it, you know. Yeah, right. Goddamn thing don't come off. Come out, you pig doggy. Right, so with her like that, we'll pump her a couple of times. You can maybe hear the oil squidging about. So it's to get the oil up and around it, you know. So you need to do that with every shock absorber you get, every brand new one. Right, we've got the old one squeezed with the squeezers there, and the threads and this nut here are a wee bit rusty on it. They're a bit on the bit of iron oxide there going on, so I wonder if let's blast it off. Probably won't. Yeah, it's just spinning. No bar. Now, just for handiness sake, I'm going to squeeze her with the squeezers here. Now, you never ever do this on a new one, you know, just because that's a scrap. We're just going to hold her for us. And this top mount has to slide off, rotate off. The spring right round. There we go. We'll just give her a bit of a clean, you know. Now, that tool I'm using, I've used it for ages, long time, like, you know, and you do get confident with them, but with any spring compressor, you don't want to get complacent either, you know. You need to make sure the spring's caught and the wee lips in there, because if that thing pops out, and where I'm sitting here for the sake of the camera, it's in a bad place, because if that comes out, it's going to come directly towards me. So that is not advisable, what I'm doing. Right, so that's her back in the wheel again, and again, the wee nuts that are at the top of the wing, they're only on by a couple of threads. So that's the movement you can get in it. So that's fine. Let me pull myself closer. So what we're going to do, now this here isn't really under tension. As you can see, it is on with this wee plastic thing, but it's not really pulling on it. So it ain't going anywhere, you know, with the jack below the wishbone. The jack below the wishbone is the secret of success with these Hondas. So they don't pull out of the shaft, you know. So I don't know whether other Jap cars have this sort of caveat that you don't let them pull out. So there, hopefully we can get her down. We might have to lower the jack a wee bit, boys, to get a bolt in. So what we'll do is, it's just a tad high on it. So we'll get a screwdriver in it so that it's not going to fall out. We'll let the jack down a wee bit. Will that let us get the bottom bolt in then? I wonder. Haha! There we are. Not going anywhere now. So you just don't want to let that thing fall towards you, you know, the hub, and you'd be grand. And how I know this? Well, I'm speaking from experience because I did one of these ages ago, and one of these Civics, it was a car just like this, and I let the hub fall towards me, and the shaft pulled out of the joint, you know. So you're sort of thinking maybe, oh, the rubber's going to hold it in or whatever. Well, it doesn't, you know, it comes out. And what I ended up having to do was, you know, ended up having to take the boot off and to get all the wee burns in. So it's the design of the wee burns on it. If I find a picture, I'll post it in the middle of the video here. But if it doesn't appear, it means I haven't found one, or I couldn't be bothered. One of the three. So yeah, great job. So we'll get the top ones nipped up. Click, click, click. And what I like to do is a pass-through socket. Oh. Click, click, click. It's just a matter of getting everything buttoned up then, isn't it? So, we'll run these up. And we'll just check the torque on that by feel. I wasn't going to worry about it. See that? Another good bit. Must have had the impact in a low setting there. Click, click. Well, that's us now. Just a matter of getting everything put back there again. You know, get the caliper around, making sure you don't twist the hose. ABS wire in position, and all that. Carry on, you know. And everything back there again, and there you have it. one cheapo strut. Now, I always recommend everybody, you're changing shock absorbers, change them in pairs. Fronts, you know, because of the price of them, people really sometimes, most of the time, don't go for that. But, you know, it is what it is. You can only do what the punter wants. You can just, all you can do is advise him, and that's it. So we'll get a wee bit of grease around that. Wheel was a wee bit sticky coming off, so that's really it. Everything fitted, you know, the thing fitted all right, so, well, that's it. Well, maybe you get something out of it. And as ever, all the best, and